Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 1ND Podcast channel. I'm your host, Vikash, joined by my co-host, Sagar, and today we're going to be giving you our top 5 bets for the NFL this week.
Yes, and before we get into the top 5 bets, I would just want to quickly cover our really horrible week last week. It was not pretty at all.
Gosh.
So we had, that just painful to look at. It was me, I was 1-4. The only bet I got right was the Steelers. And you were also 1-4, and the only bet you got right was the Raiders. Last week was just filled with upsets everywhere. Like, the biggest one off the top of my head I can think of is the Titans losing to the Bengals. The Titans, who started 5-0, don't look that great anymore, and it could all have to do with that one lineman who's been out and injured for the rest. For the rest of the season. That's a big injury, and it kind of just goes to show how much line play is so valuable in the NFL.
It could be that, but also the fact that their defense just is not performing.
Yeah, it's definitely a factor of multiple things. Another big one that stands out is the Chargers game, which we both thought was a lock against the Denver Broncos. And it just, that game just dissolved into something totally disastrous.
Up until 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
the lock, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just went away. So not a great game.
Upset by the Vikings.
That was another big upset. Yeah, dude. And Dalvin Cook just shredding the Packers defense. And
the only part of the Vikings offense that was working at all.
Exactly. And it kind of, puts like a dampener on the Packers playoff expectations, at least for me. The Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt and went in and out of the game. So that was just unlucky on my part. And then the Saints -4. That was also a bummer, but I do understand. I mean, they didn't have any of their wide receiver weapons. They did have Jared Cook, but Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas were out, so not a great week there. But yeah, I mean, hoping to rebound this week for sure. And moving on. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the Browns. That Raiders-Browns game was disgusting with the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And so, luckily, the Raiders won that one. I had a feeling they were going to win outright, so plus 2.5, that was a great one.
Yeah.
Packers -7. Dude, the week 1 game, it just looked like the Packers dominated, and Dalvin Cook was there too. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess the Vikings have found their winning formula, and it's to run Dalvin Cook until he can't run no more.
Exactly.
And then the Bucs. I mean, I was just very hopeful for the Bucs. They didn't look the greatest against that Giants defense, which is admittedly pretty good, but you expect someone like Tom Brady to do a little bit better than that. But no Chris Godwin. Antonio Brown is coming this week, so that should be a good game, the Saints and the Bucs. And then the 49ers, I thought they would keep it a little closer, but then, injuries to George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo last week. It's just messy week last week.
Yeah, not great. And historically they have had like the worst injury luck, man. Like everyone is just hurt. It's a tough break for them.
Insane.
And
they're playing with their practice squad basically at this point.
And they're making some moves. They traded away Quan Alexander to the Saints, which was an interesting move. We'll see what they do for the rest of the season. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's move on to our top 5. This week we're just going to give you our top 5, and it'll be on one slide. And then moving forward next week, we'll give you our breakdown of every bet. This week we just had a little special circumstance. So let's move on. We have the Week 9 top 5. I'll go down my list, and then you can go down yours. So I have the Ravens -1, which you do as well. I have the Saints +4, and that's an interesting one. The line's been moving towards the Bucs, because earlier in the week it was Saints +5. So if you got in early, good for you. And then I have the Cardinals -4.5 against the Dolphins, I believe. That's who they play. Yes. And then the Bears +6.5 against those Titans that do not look good, who just lost to the Bengals. And then a surprising one for me, the Washington football team -2.5 against the New York Giants. You want to go down yours?
Yeah, so I like your Washington -2.5. I like the Washington football team. I like their defense. I think they do well against the Giants as well, evidenced by last game. I've also got the Ravens -1 against the Colts. I think the Colts, they look good, but I don't know if they can do it against these great teams like the Ravens. That being said, if the Colts get off to an early lead, it might be tougher for the Ravens to come back, and they've proven that, against a team with an early lead, they don't perform the best. Chiefs -10 against the Panthers. The Chiefs have just been on a roll. I think they're Gonna keep it going against the Panthers. I don't know if the Panthers are healthy enough right now. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a little roughed up. We'll see what he can do, but Christian McCaffrey is coming back. So that is one definite flaw in this bet. But I mean, the Chiefs have been rolling, so I'll keep them going. Chiefs -10. Chargers, it's a pick'em play there. They're playing the Raiders. Keenan Allen is hurt, so that really does roughen up this little pick. But I do feel like the Chargers are so close to winning every single time, and it's just even against the greater teams. So I feel like they've got to eke one out somewhere, and this is Chargers home, so hopefully they can win that one.
Yeah.
Bears +6.5. That's a rough one, right? The Bears have kind of disappointed us in the past, and it's tough. They got destroyed by the Rams when they were, given some points, and we thought, oh, the Bears defense, they'll hold up. Not so much, right? But we'll see. We'll see how they do this week. I think they can hold up, especially since, they may be able to pressure Ryan Tannehill a bit more without Taylor Lewan there. Derrick Henry doesn't rush as well without Taylor Lewan, so that's a big part of that offensive line that's just gone. And then Bills +3, they're playing the Seahawks. That secondary is still not good for the Seahawks.
Not at all.
Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley, I think they'll have a good time against them. The Bills haven't looked the greatest recently offensively, but they do have Zach Moss back, and he complements Devin Singletary very well, and Josh Allen, hopefully he can get back to his gunslinging ways. But I like the Bills to keep it close, maybe not win, but we've seen that the Seahawks do play some close games, so hopefully the Bills can eke one out here. That being said, the Bills secondary is also not that good, and Russell Wilson has been just carving any defense out, so it doesn't really matter. So hopefully this is just a bet on the Bills keeping it close.
Gotcha. And that was going to make its way into my top 5. Especially if John Brown is healthy. I think that's a great pick. I have no idea how I feel about the Bills. Hard for me to predict, but yeah, just given the track record of the Seahawks keeping games close and the Bills having just a potent offense when everything is clicking, it's a great pick. So I just want to break down a couple of my games a little more. So the Saints +4 I think is a good shout this week, especially in the rematch, because of one key addition, that being Michael Thomas, right? He's listed as questionable, but he's on track to play. So I think that's going to be a major decider in that game, and that's why I do have it in my top 5. I think the Saints keep it close, and in a close game against the Bucs, I think, that Michael Thomas addition and 4 points, I think is a lock. And just going down the list, don't really need to cover the Ravens because I just feel like they're the better team and that they're going to ink out a win against the Colts. With the Cardinals, the reason I'm kind of okay with giving away 4.5 points is because I'm kind of bearish on Tua. He's played one game, hasn't looked great. He played against arguably the best defensive lineman in the league, Aaron Donald, right? So it's no blame on him for that. I don't know how he's going to do. It's going to be second week starting. Typically, these rookie quarterbacks have, shown their worth and how much they can do. Like, key example, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. But I'm kind of bearish on Tua. He's a little bit shorter. He needs to be a little more dynamic with his legs, similar to a Kyler Murray, but that's not really been his play style at Alabama. So I want to see how he does. And then again, Bears, I think, is a good pick just because the Titans have not looked great. Defense looks bad. Key offensive piece missing on their line. And then, as you said, with the Washington football team, they played a great game against the Giants. I think the key in that game is going to be that Washington defensive line pressuring Daniel Jones, who has been historically known to fumble the ball quite a bit. So I'm feeling confident this week and looking to turn it around from that 11-13 record.
That Saints and Bucks game is going to be really fun to watch.
So
right? You got
fun.
Antonio Brown coming, you got Chris Godwin possibly playing, and then you've got Michael Thomas coming back, Emmanuel Sanders. So it'll be pretty much full power both, except some injuries here or there. But yeah, it'll be a fun game for sure. I like that pick because I do like it to be a close game overall. And then the Cardinals, I could definitely see that. Tua didn't look the greatest against the Rams. It's hard to look good against Aaron Donald, especially if he's routinely getting to you, and it seems like that was the case the whole time. And so it'll be a tougher game, but we'll see. I think the Cardinals do they have a good shot at that one, especially with Chase Edmonds. I feel like he does run the ball pretty well. Another thing to mention is that Myles Gaskin is not going to be playing, and so that's rough on the Dolphins offense because he was their go-to guy, honestly. So yeah, I like your picks.
Yeah, I know. It's let's hope for a good week. Let's hope for 5-0.
Yeah, way better than last week.
Yeah, it's hard to replicate 1-4. We'll see how we do. And I think with that, we can wrap our top 5.
Yep. Thank you for watching. Please check us out on our social media. Subscribe, like, comment, and check out our store, karmastyles.com.
For sure. All right, guys. Have a good one.